Grand Rising. Just going live on Instagram, and we are recording for YouTube. Going to be going over the astrology of the week ahead. Let's wait for everybody to come on. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thank you guys for being here. We're going to be talking about the astrology of the week ahead. Let me pivot this a little bit. Let's do that. There we go. Cool. Good morning, Grand Rising. How's everybody doing? How was your weekend? We had the moon in Libra in Scorpio. A lot of relationship things happening right now. A lot of shifts and changes in relationships for people. Cardinal people are very activated right now. Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, Aries. This Capricorn season is meant to kind of move things in your life or get you guys maybe agitate you, bother you a little bit. I don't know. Maybe this Capricorn season's been stirring up some drama for you. Maybe this full moon and Cancer cycle and this Capricorn season's been stirring up some drama for folks because it's trying to get them to approach things differently. I don't know. This energy is trying to get us to move. It's making us uncomfortable a little bit, trying to get us to move. Buenos dias, soul fam. Hey, Jay, welcome. Thank you for being here, Anthony. Young, yeah, I'm a Libra. What does the moon being in Libra mean? The moon being in Libra means that the moon at this moment in time, or when over the weekend, was in the sign of Libra. The moon was transiting the sign of Libra. So you were having the moon transit your sun. That's what that means. All right, let me take a look and see what we got going on in the sky right now. The moon's in Scorpio, I think, right now, still. Back to current moment. We're starting with the rising at 29. Yeah, the moon's in Scorpio, 14 degrees. The moon is separating from a trine with Jupiter. Yesterday probably felt really good for a lot of people. I know yesterday felt good for me because we did a little group hangout. Someone said you left me more confused. If you're new to astrology and you don't understand, what I'm talking about a lot of times. It takes time to learn. You should definitely get a reading with me, and I can help you understand your chart a little bit more and kind of break down astrology to you and kind of help you understand how it works. But pretty much the way it works is the moon transits a sign every 2.5 days. And the moon, astrology is not a layman science. Astrology is like spiritual chemistry or spiritual physics. It's it takes a little bit to learn. A lot of people, it's funny, people are like, "Oh yeah, astrology, I want to just get into it." And they realize what astrology is and like, "Oh shit, wait a minute, actually never mind." Because astrology is a lot more complex and a lot more layered than people think. It's a language. It's a language unto its own, and it's not something that is I do my best to break it down and make it simple and accessible for people, but it's also um if you choose to, develop a passion for astrology, you want to study it, you want to, get to know it a little bit, it takes time. It took me a few years to, start actually doing readings for people. It took me a few years to learn. Yeah, I'm here. Good morning. I'm here early because I got a busy day ahead of me. So, yeah, okay. But we have the moon in Scorpio today, tomorrow, and then the moon's going to be going into Sag, and I think we have our new moon in Capricorn this week. Let me just double check and see. Hold on. Let's see if it's this week or next week. It might be next week, actually. Oh, it's on Sunday, actually. No, we have our new moon in Capricorn on Sunday. So we're gonna be talking about the new moon today. We're wrapping up our full moon and Cancer cycle this week. Venus goes into Aquarius this week, so we're gonna be kind of transitioning out of this Capricorn energy. This is the last week of Capricorn season before we move into Aquarius season. And these next 3 months are going to be very important for many people. These next 3 months. I'm sorry, January, February, March are going to be very important for many people because this is the last of Saturn in Pisces, right? It's one of the things I've been talking about every week is Saturn is wrapping up his transit in the sign of Pisces. He's leaving Pisces. in March with Neptune. Saturn and Neptune are sitting right next to each other. They're going to be coming into a conjunction. I've seen a lot of people on threads asking or talking about the Neptune Saturn conjunction. That is going to be very, very important. I believe Saturn and Neptune will be conjoining at 0 degrees of Aries. Yes. Oh, actually, in February. My bad. Oh my goodness. I don't know why I was thinking that Saturn went into Pisces or Saturn went into Aries in March, but it's actually February. So this month and next month, pretty much, we're wrapping up Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn's going into Aries with Neptune. They're going into Aries together, and they're going to form an immediate conjunction. And I do think that this is going to be a trigger for many things, not only individually in our own life, but I also think this is going to be a trigger for global events and for governments. And I think it's going to be a trigger, it's like going to be like a war trigger more than likely. We're going to see, whatever the energy of war is, wherever we happen to be at, we're going to see that kind of move forward. Also, continuing to see more overthrows of governments or dissolution or dissolving of governments. That's going to be another thing that we're going to be seeing with Saturn Neptune conjoined. But you want to take a look at your chart. You want to see what house do you have in Aries, and how is Saturn coming in to constrict that house, to test that house, to refine that house. Um, and what is Saturn leaving, right? Saturn leaving Pisces. What has kind of shifted or changed? How have you matured around your Pisces house over the last 2.5 years, right? As Saturn was transiting Pisces, we've grown up a lot. I'm a Pisces rising, and we've matured a lot. We've learned a lot. Us mutable signs, if you're Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sag, the last 2.5 years have been tough for us. To say the least, okay? The last 2.5 years for mutable signs have been tough. We've been having to grow and learn a lot. We've been having to mature. Dealt with loss. We've dealt with grief. We've dealt with sadness. We've also been dealing with stagnation, right? There's been Saturn stagnates things. He doesn't move things. He has us, sometimes he holds us in suspension, or he holds us in a moment of pause for an extended period of time. And many of us, mutable signs especially, Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, Sag, have been feeling this. They've been feeling this kind of like stuckness. They've been feeling like this delay, right? They've been feeling like lost in the sauce. Also, confusion. I think that's also been a big Saturn, North Node, Neptune, and Pisces thing, has just been kind of like confusion, emotional confusion, spiritual confusion, not really knowing what our next direction is going to be, not really knowing where we're going, not really knowing what we're doing. This kind of like this collective fog that we've been under. It kind of feels like we've been in a collective trance or collective fog. And now with Neptune, Saturn going into Aries, the nodes are going to be going into Aquarius and Leo this year as well. We're moving away from all this Pisces, all this confusing, foggy Pisces energy. But, the beautiful thing about Pisces and all this energy in Pisces, Saturn, Neptune, North Node in Pisces, it's been about our spiritual development. So this is a period, right? The last few years, even, this month, next month, with Saturn in Pisces, and the sun transiting Saturn signs pulling from Saturn in Pisces, is this has been about spiritual development. This has been about getting to know yourself deeply, intimately, like taking off all the filters, taking off all the costumes, taking off all the masks. Who are you underneath all these things, that all these identities that you perform? Who are you behind the roles that you play, right? I'm a mom, I'm a dad, I'm a brother, I'm a coworker, I'm a whatever, right? Who are you behind all these roles that you play? And many of us have been in isolation, right? We've been in isolation, we've been alone, we've been feeling very lonely. Pisces is the sign of loneliness. Pisces is the sign of isolation. Pisces is the sign of spiritual development when you're alone. So it's like you get put into spiritual solitude so you could develop and get to know yourself and really get to uncover who you really are. That's where we've been at. We've been in this energy of get to know who you are outside of everyone else, right? Like be alone, right? Connect to spirit, connect to God, connect to the divine. Our dreams have been very active, right? Our relationship with the spirit world has been very, very active. We've been feeling a lot of spirits around us. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I'm an intuitive psychic person, and I've been feeling like, damn, who's next to me? Is my grandma here? Is my aunt here? Like, is my dog that passed here? We've been kind of feeling this really intense, relationship. For if you're leaning into it, right? This intense relationship that we're building with the spiritual world, right? So with the Saturn Neptune going into Aries, Saturn Neptune going into Aries, we're coming back to reality. We're coming back to the beginning, where it all started. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's where it all began. It's where it all started, right? And we're kind of going back to also being more embodied, being more active, being more physical, being more attuned to the reality, right? Not so much, you know, connected to spirit. No, I don't want to say it like that, but the focus isn't so much on, or the energy isn't pulling us towards like the spirit world, towards like, isolation and loneliness. Like it's pulling us more towards like activity and action. And another thing about, Aries, opposite the sign of Aries is Libra, right? So with Saturn and Neptune going to Aries, people that I would tell to like, look, if you are a cardinal sign, if you are someone with a lot of Cancer, Libra, Aries, Capricorn, Saturn and Neptune's ingress into Aries, this is very important for cardinal people. This is very important for Libras. If you're the Pluto and Libra generation, if you have Pluto and Libra, you have Saturn in Libra, you have a Libra stellium, whatever. Saturn going into Aries is going to start opposing Libra. It's going to start opposing the Pluto and Libra people. And so what's really interesting, the download I got is for the Pluto and Libra generation. Many of you your relationships are gonna evolve and shift and change. Many of you are gonna be going through the divorce and separation that you need to go through, or your relationships, your marriages, whatever that you're already in, are gonna go through an evolution. They're gonna go through a moment of testing. They need to evolve. They need to transform and change. Right? Saturn opposite Pluto in transit, when you have Saturn opposing your natal Pluto in transit, so they're taking something, they're transforming and changing something, and they're going to refine something, right? But one of the other beautiful things, the messages that I got about Saturn, and this actually came from Bad Bunny's experience, because Bad Bunny's been going through a Saturn return. And, Bad Bunny, I think he's done his Saturn return right. So what I mean by that is Bad Bunny has risen up to Saturn's expectations, or Bad Bunny he's committed himself to doing the work that Saturn wanted him to do throughout his Saturn return. He did that residency, he's doing the Super Bowl. And it's so interesting because, Bad Bunny, him finishing his Saturn return, I do believe his Saturn exits Pisces a few days after the Super Bowl, which is so fascinating because the Super Bowl performance for Bad Bunny is the climax of his Saturn return. But one of the things I want you guys to understand, because Bad Bunny is a Sun Saturn guy, I think he has Sun conjunct Saturn. Let me see. Is all the collective rejection he's getting because of the politics here in the States. Let's see if he has Sun Saturn together. Oh no, they're not together, but he has Saturn Mars together, which is, yeah, Saturn Mars is a very, very strong signature to have in the chart. He has Venus in Aries, he has Sun 19 degrees Pisces, and he has Saturn 4 degrees Pisces and Mars at 2 degrees Pisces. Saturn Mars, when you guys see that in a chart, I don't know if anybody has that. When people have them together, they're no bullshit. These people, they love control, they love power, they love authority, and they're not going to back down from like a fight. So when Saturn and Mars come together, Saturn kind of gives authority and structure and discipline to Mars, and Mars gives courage and bravery and force to Saturn. So they benefit each other. Even though they're malefics, right? They're two malefics. They benefit each other. And they bring out each other's more authoritative, no bullshit type of, right? So Yeah, so the whole world could have told Bad Bunny, "Oh no, don't do the Super Bowl." And just because everyone's telling him not to do it, he's gonna do it because he has Saturn Mars together in Pisces. Because he has a Saturn Mars conjunction, right? These people are able to accomplish things. So it's the passion of Mars and the drive of Mars, combined with the discipline and the structure and the carry through and the follow up with Saturn when we have Saturn and Mars in a conjunction, right? But what I find so fascinating about his Saturn return, because he has Saturn and the Sun in the same sign, is that Bad Bunny, his Saturn return has been about him becoming a master of his genre and also becoming someone that's at the very top of the food chain in the music industry, but also in his genre, right? But also thinking about how much pushback that he's gotten and how he's being used a little bit as like a political device, you know? And because of that, he's getting a lot of hatred. Like there's a lot of people hating on him, right? Because of everything with the politics and with the Super Bowl and stuff. But that's also kind of the karma of Saturn. Like Saturn has him doing this work. And Saturn is like, you need to be a figurehead. And this is what we see with Pisces people, right? George Floyd was a Pisces as well. Um, what is it? Luigi Mangione, he has Jupiter in Pisces. Like these people are kind of, they're not always used as martyrs per se, but they're symbols. They're symbols that for the collective. They're either symbols of justice, symbols of truth, right? Bad Bunny is a symbol of inclusion, right? And acceptance and inclusion. And Bad Bunny, right? Him being, Latino and everything, uh, he's being used by Saturn and by Jupiter as a symbol of inclusion and a symbol of integration of society, right? And he's being used to expose the hypocrisy of the United States, right? That's what the planets are using him for. That's what Saturn and Jupiter are using him for, right? But with that comes the rejection, comes the Saturn energy, the suffering, the struggle, right? Miss Good. Was Miss Good a Pisces? I don't even know what was her birthday. Renee Good. Hold on, let me see. What was Renee Good birthday? Do we have her birthday? I haven't looked at her chart at all. She's an Aries, April 2nd, 1988. I think is that her birthday? Am I getting that right? Oh, okay. April 2nd, 1988. Hold on, let me see something. I'm gonna look at her chart really quick. April 2nd. I'm looking at Renee Good's chart. April 2nd, 1988. She was born in Colorado Springs. This is my first time looking at her chart, by the way. North Node in Pisces. Mercury in Pisces. She has the North Node at 22 degrees. Pisces. I don't remember. I always remember when I tell you guys about the 22nd degree. That 22nd degree can indicate tragedy and loss and like life or death situations or karmic situations that lead to tragedy. And she has the North Node in Pisces at 22 degrees. Also, she has Mars in Capricorn. This woman was a no bullshit type of woman, and she was born on a full moon. She had the sun in Aries with the moon in Libra. So, yeah, she had a Pisces degree sun too. This woman was not. She didn't play no games, and she was very much fuck the government. This woman was, and she has a strong Mars. She has Mars in Capricorn, and she has Saturn, Uranus, Neptune all together in Capricorn. So this is a woman who is here to defy authority, and like she's like very fuck the government. It's her energy. Her chart looks like that, and she's also kind of like someone that with Aries Sun, strong Mars and Capricorn. So when she gets pissed, she gets pissed. And she's like no bullshit type of woman. The other thing with her though, she's very impulsive. This is a chart of someone who doesn't really think things through and who reacts with anger and who's impulsive. And she kind of gets herself into trouble in that way. Or I think the impulsive decision making, right? It's just it's a cardinal sign thing. When people have a lot of cardinal, Libra, Aries, Capricorn, Cancer, they're impulsive. So Nicole Good, I don't know if you know who Nicole Good is, or not Nicole Good. Is her name Nicole Good, right? Hold on. Her name is Nicole Good, right? Um, she was the one that was killed in Minneapolis by ICE. Renee Good. Oh my God, I'm so bad with names. Sorry, you guys. My apologies. Renee Good. She was the one that was killed in Minneapolis. She was like shot in the head. Renee Good, yeah. And you know what's so crazy? Let me tell you what's the other crazy thing about astrology, right? Is Renee Nicole Good. Okay. Aries rules the head. Aries rules the head. And so many times when people have Aries placements, I don't want to say many times, but it's just that's a weird way to say it. But Aries in the eighth house, Aries in the fourth house, Aries sun, Aries rising, a lot of times their passing will involve the head in some type of way, whether it be a gunshot, whether it be a brain aneurysm or stroke, things like that, you know. But her chart, it makes sense, but it's also the North Node in Pisces. Remember I was saying about the martyrs, people that are martyrs or people that get sacrificed for like the greater, like for a message or for like the greater good. That's like a Pisces thing. And she has Saturn right on her Mercury in Pisces right now, like right on her Mercury in Pisces. And also she has the Mars in Capricorn. And there's all this Capricorn. Her chart was kind of activated. Let's see, hold on. Nicole, Renee Good, day of shooting. Let's see. She has a Jupiter in Cancer too, I think. Hold on. No, my bad. She doesn't have any Cancer placements. Uh, Hold on. I'm just looking at this. Oh, it was January 7th. It was January 7th. Let me go back to the 7th. What was going on that day? Sun, Venus, Mars, yeah, conjunction, yeah. Sun, Venus, Mars conjunction. Uranus is on her Venus. Uranus is on her Venus. This is Mars. The thing that is really troubling. Okay, so when Mars is transiting in the sky, right? Mars is going around, transiting in the sky. He's hitting different planets. Whenever Mars conjoins a planet, though, typically what's possible is seeing violence against people of that planet or a prominent narrative or prominent story coming to light about violence against someone of that planet, right? So, like, for instance, let me explain. When Mars is in transit and conjoins Jupiter, Mars, Jupiter in the sky could be about a rabbi, a spiritual person, a priest, a judge, or like a therapist or a lawyer or someone coming under attack. So when Mars, so I want you guys to track this as well in the media. When Mars conjoins a planet in the sky, usually there will be someone of that other planet, symbolically in the news or the narr in this like in the news that will like where violence will happen against them. Okay. So when Venus and Mars come together, this is about violence against women. But because we have the sun, Venus and Mars together, right? And also 17 degrees is a Leo degree. Leo is connected to authority figures and police officers. And the sun is also connected to authority figures and police officers, right? Because it's connected, the sun rules the sign of Leo. So we have Sun, Venus, Mars together. What we get is a police officer attacking a woman or a police officer murdering a woman and government overstepping boundaries, right? That's like the big thing right now with the Capricorn stellium in the sky. And this is what Saturn in Pisces, this Capricorn season is trying to show us governments that are overstepping boundaries, governments that are lying to us, governments that are being deceptive, but also the dissolving of governments. What have we seen in Iran? Well, the Iranian government, right? Iran is going through an evolution. And the Iranian government is almost fall is like pretty much gonna fall, you know? So we're seeing like because Pisces is the sign of dissolving. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. Pisces is the sign that breaks things down and dissolves things. So when you think of like throwing something into the ocean and just letting it be in the ocean, letting the ocean dissolve it and like letting it rot in the ocean, that's Pisces. That's Pisces things. So we're seeing like the disillusion, the dissolving, also the deception from the government, right? Um, so yeah, but going back to my original point, what I was saying about Pisces being the sign of martyrs or being the sign of those that sacrifice themselves for others, right? Or even those that get sacrificed for the collective message or for like the greater good in some type of way. That's a Pisces thing, you know. And Renee had North Node Mercury in Pisces. I mean, it makes a lot of sense, right? Um, but what I was saying, tying this back to Bad Bunny is for those of you that are about to go to start a Saturn transit. So if you are someone with Saturn in a cardinal sign, if you have Saturn in Aries and you're about to start your Saturn return, if you have Saturn in Libra, Saturn in Capricorn, Saturn in what is it? Cancer. If you have Saturn in Cancer, Capricorn, Aries, Libra, you're about to start your Saturn transit. You're either going to start a Saturn return, a Saturn square, a Saturn opposition, right? Or if you have big planets and cardinal signs, you have a lot of cardinal going on. It's important to pay attention to Saturn coming in to aspect these planets and to take notice of what phase you're in of your Saturn cycle. Are you in your Saturn opposition? Are you in your Saturn square? What phase in your Saturn square are you in, right? Because this kind of it's good to know this so that if you experience any kind of testing or challenge from Saturn, or if you know some bullshit starts to happen in your life, then you can kind of take a step back and be like, okay, what is Saturn trying to show me? What is Saturn trying to teach me? Right. But we're going to see a lot of cardinal signs feeling very, very active come the middle of February when Saturn goes into Aries, but also Aries season is going to be very important because this upcoming Aries season is going to be the Sun and Saturn going into Aries, being in Aries together, and they're starting a whole new cycle. The Sun and Saturn are starting a whole new cycle around the zodiac, right? So Saturn is starting a new 30-year cycle around the zodiac once he goes into Aries, and the sun is going to be joining him. And the sun, right? The sun goes around the zodiac on what, 27, 28 times. Um, Oh, fully, right? During one Saturn cycle. So we got a lot of there's gonna be this feeling of I know this phrase is played out and we're so tired of it, but new beginnings, you know, this energy of moving forward. And also kind of like new governments. We're gonna see new leaders, new governments. And another big theme that's gonna be showing up with Saturn and Aries is a lot of young leaders, youthful leadership, okay? A lot of, and this is something I was talking about this yesterday for the group meetup actually. Something I mentioned to everybody with Saturn Neptune going into Aries, we're going to see a lot of men start to go on a spiritual journey. A lot of men kind of get to know themselves a little bit deeper. But this is just going to be something I think we got to be aware of, my loves. We're going to be seeing a lot more suicides as well. We're going to be seeing a lot more suicides. We're going to be seeing a lot more violence, unfortunately, a lot more fires. A lot of people are just going to be feeling very angry, agitated. And also people are going to be feeling a lot more, they're going to be willing to fight for justice. So we're going to see more people taking to the streets. We're going to see more angry people rioting or protesting and stuff like this. People are going to feel re-energized, okay? But yeah, advances with technology. We're also going to be seeing the first babies being born that are not born out of a womb. Very interesting things when it comes to technology and procreation and the way babies are being born. Saturn and Neptune in Aries is going to shift the way progeny and procreation happens as well, you know. Also, interestingly enough, another download I'm getting because it opposes Libra, we're going to see more radical changes with laws, unfortunately, and extreme laws, laws that are kind of like violent, or laws that are punishing criminals, or laws that are extreme in nature. So yeah, and overthrows of government by military. It's gonna be another big theme. So, you know, military powers taking over governments or ousting governments or like coup d'etats and things like that. We're gonna be seeing that as well. So that's just a few things. But if you are someone that's cardinal, you have a lot of cardinal in your chart, you want to pay attention to Saturn going into Aries, and you want to pay attention to, you know, when Saturn is going to come into direct aspect with your cardinal placements, because now Saturn is turning his gaze to the cardinal signs, right? But it doesn't have to be a bad thing. And this is one of the things I think it's super important that we learn from Bad Bunny in his Saturn return. Our Saturn return does not have to be tragic and hard and difficult and sad, okay? It is going to test us. If we are someone that we are a Saturn person, so if you are already doing what Saturn wants you to do, let's say you've been working on a certain business or career. Let's say you've been, you know, you've been super disciplined. You've been putting in a lot of time and energy into something, right? And you're waiting to get that payoff. You're waiting to get your breakthrough. You're waiting to get, you know, that recompensation. You're waiting for to get that reward for all the work that you put in, right? Well, is going to go ahead and gift you that, is going to reward you that, right? One of the beautiful things about Saturn is he refines us. He makes us disciplined. He also helps us be more controlled with things. So if you're a cardinal sign, if you have cardinal placements and you've been struggling with addiction, Saturn will help you get rid of any kind of addictions that you have. It's Saturn's energy is really, really beautiful when we channel it correctly and we apply his lessons into what he wants to teach us and how he wants to refine us. But he does usually test us. He does usually test us. I will tell you this, if you're someone that's about to start going through your Saturn return, or you're about to have a Saturn transit, your Saturn opposition, he will test you, and he'll test you in the realms of where whatever houses he's in, whatever house is, or house that he's in, or he's aspecting or transiting or whatever, or however he's hitting your chart. And also inherently with the signs that he's in, right? So Libra and Aries, this is the sign, this is one of the relationship axes. Okay. So, you know, Libra and Aries, Libra is a sign of relationship and partnership and justice and fairness and balance and harmony and grace, where Aries in partnership. So Libra is a sign of business and partnership, where Aries is a sign of individuality. Aries is a sign of the self, our own passions, our own desires. And Aries is also the sign of fighting and war and anger and rage and conflict, right? And assertiveness and courage and bravery and all this, right? So, you know, you want to just keep in mind that Saturn in Aries is going to test us in the realm of relationships, especially for cardinal signs. And it's also going to help us be a little bit more independent. Ultimately, Saturn's goal when he's transiting Aries is to help us be more autonomous and independent and self-assured and kind of like self-grounded or self-assertive, you know? So, if you're someone that struggles with codependency, you struggle with, you know, attachment, anxious attachment, avoidant attachment, whatever, you're just attached, okay? But you don't know how to be properly attached, so you have anxiety or you avoid or whatever, right? He's gonna help us through all of that. He's gonna help us being a little bit more grounded within the self, right? And also helping us reconnect our passions and our individuality. Like Saturn in Aries is really going to be about who are you outside of your relationships? Who are you as an independent person? Okay? Are you outside of your connections with others? And this is something that I was talking about, I think, a few lives ago as well. So I just want to prepare you guys for that, okay? With Saturn moving into Aries. Yes. I have the North Node and Jupiter in Aries, so I'm kind of excited for Saturn's transit in Aries. But the thing I'm not excited for is Saturn opposing my Mars in Libra. That I'm not excited for because it's on my second house, eighth house axis. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, let's get back to the astrology of the week ahead. Okay. Went off on a little tangent there. Let me pull this back up again. Hold on. Okay, here we are. Yeah. So it's interesting. Yeah, February 14th, Valentine's Day. Or yeah, is Valentine's Day the 4th? Happy Valentine's Day. Every day the fun. You guys know that song? By who is that? Happy Valentine's Day. Every day the 14th. The Love Below. This song right here is by Outkast. Andre 3000. You guys know this song?
I don't think y'all heard, man. I just wanted to say Happy Valentine's Day. Can you dig that? When arrows don't penetrate, see,
Cupid grabs a pistol.
yeah, now those get hit, he shoots straight
To
for
your
your
heart.
heart.
You guys remember this?
Won't reach.
This is dude, when this album came out, the jam. This was the jam when it came out. The whole album. This was like one of my favorite albums was Love Below. I know though, yeah. You only get like 10 or 15 seconds of like copyright music and then they give you the warning. Yeah. And they give you the warning. Okay, cool. All right, let's keep going. Let me go back to the current moment. All right. Yeah, so we got the moon in Scorpio today, tomorrow, wrapping up in Scorpio today, tomorrow. This is okay. So the moon in Scorpio, though, has probably been feeling really good for people. Like, even this weekend has probably been feeling really good for people. Welcome, my love. Thank you for being here. It's okay if you've been absent. Welcome back. Yeah, the two CD album was great. Um, Speaker Box and Love Below. But you've probably been feeling really good with the moon in Scorpio because this is the fifth house away from our full moon in Cancer. And also, the moon in Scorpio has been responding to Mars, who's been sitting right next to the sun and Venus. So, there's just a lot going on with dynamics right now. There's just a lot of energy in the sky. It's probably one of the things you've noticed is everyone's been feeling very stimulated or very social. And this is because Mars and Venus and Mercury, very soon Mercury this week, are all right next to the sun. The sun is bringing them energy, is bringing them light, but the sun is also burning things out. And the sun is also revealing things and showing us things around Venus, Mars, and Mercury. And it's all coming through the guise of Capricorn, though. It's all being filtered through the sign of Capricorn. And so there's a lot of kind of karmic narratives, karmic stories playing out right now. One of the things well, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but all of a sudden, you know, Sun, Venus, Mars came together last week, and it seems like there was just an uptick of activity and like an uptick of like things happening. And that has a lot to do with the fact that the planets, especially Venus, Mars, are transiting right next to the sun. They're transiting the sun, and they're all renewing their cycle with the sun. So every planet has its own relationship with the sun. Whenever a planet passes through the sun, it starts a new cycle. It's starting a new cycle in relationship to the sun, right? Because all the planets are orbiting around the sun, so they have a very intimate relationship with the sun. So, with Venus starting a new cycle, with Mars starting a new cycle, and they're starting a new cycle, and Mercury also in the sign of Capricorn, ruled by Saturn, this tells us that there's karmic cycles that are coming to completion because Sun, Mars, Venus, they're conjoining the sun, which is wrapping things up. They're ending a cycle, but they're also beginning a cycle. But it's all very karmic in nature. It seems like there's things that are fated or things that are destined, or things that we're kind of maybe even forced to do that we don't want to do, people that we're forced to see that we don't want to see. Like there's kind of like karmic things happening, but also, karmic cutoffs and karmic dissolution of things or karmic erasure or clearing out of things because of um, Venus, Mars, Sun, Mars. Mars is like, are we renewing our cycle with this thing? Are we going to continue to invest the time and energy into this thing, or are we going to leave it behind or let it go so that we can like allow ourselves to be open and receptive to like something new, right? So I think we need to be very aware this week, from last week to this week. We're very aware of what's coming with us, especially with matters of Venus and Mars. So, relationship matters, money matters, your relationships, connections to men, Mars things, the way that you assert yourself, if you have a good relationship with Mars, you're very confident, you're very bold, you're very courageous. If you don't have a good relationship with Mars, kind of redefining your relationship with Mars, or even being like, okay, what can I do differently? How can I build or strengthen or deepen my relationship to Mars, right? By being more active, by being more assertive and things like this. Because Mars is the strongest planet in Capricorn, right? Mars, he is exalted in the sign of Capricorn. The sun is weak in Capricorn. Venus is all right there. Mercury does all right there, but Mars that's a sign that he's really, really strong in. So, all these planets, Mars is the strongest entity here. And this is why the last few weeks have felt very destructive. While we've had, murder and violence and, overthrows of government, and we've had like really tragic, intense things happening. It's because of the sun Mars. It's because of Mars being the strongest planet in the sky when it comes to this Capricorn stellium that we've had. So this week, okay, so what do we got going on this week? We have Mercury coming into a conjunction with Mars on Saturday. Yeah. So as Venus goes into Aquarius on Saturday, Mercury and Mars come into conjunction, and that's a day before our new moon in Capricorn. So this is going to be a very exciting, liberating, little, mm, little challenging, difficult conversations, a little irritating, okay, because of the Mercury Mars. But we have Mercury Mars in a trine with Uranus, and we have Sun Moon together. We have Sun Moon, Mercury Mars all together in Capricorn, trining Uranus. And so this tells me that, we're being invited to kind of break. Oh, do you know the song that just came to me with that Ariana Grande song? Break free as I can't do it no more. The time when you say I don't wanna, I'm stronger than I've been before. This is the part that I break free. She's like got Capricorn Cancer, but yeah, it's a new moon, all trining Uranus, Mars trine Uranus, Mercury trine Uranus, Sun, Moon trine Uranus, and Venus just goes into Aquarius, which is a Uranian energy. So this is a very liberating new moon. This is a new moon of really kind of stepping out of our comfort zone and trying something new. The interesting thing though is that because the new moon we've got earth energy, there's a hesitation that we got to work through. There's a little bit of like I don't think of Capricorn as being a very liberated sign. A lot of Capricorns, they've had to fight for freedom, but freedom is not something it's not a word that they're attached to. It's not an experience that is like, oh yeah, my life is marked by moments of freedom and liberation. No, no, that's not a Capricorn thing. Capricorn is more about control and subjugation, right? Capricorn is more about also this is an earth sign thing, especially Capricorn Taurus, kind of keeping things the same actually. Capricorn is a sign of tradition and upholding traditional structures. So you'll see a lot of Capricorn, especially when people have they're like religious. A lot of Capricorn people, they really attach themselves to religions that are about control and subjugation and like shame and like really heavy religions like Catholicism, certain forms of Christianity, even being like Islam or Muslim, right? That's like a more of a Capricornian thing. And so, the energy of the Capricorn full moon or new moon doesn't really mesh with the Uranus and Taurus, but this energy is trying to liberate us. It's trying to free us. It's trying to get us to go in a new direction. And it's also trying to challenge us to think outside of the box and do something different and do something unique. If you are someone with late degree cardinal placements, if you have anything at late degree, Capricorn, Libra, Cancer, or Aries, anything around 25 to 29 degrees of a cardinal sign, you're really going to be feeling this new moon coming up on Sunday, January 18th. And also, if you are a water sign or earth sign, you have anything at late degrees, you're going to really benefit from this new moon. This new moon wants to kind of push you in a new direction, wants to get things to transition and change, okay? Because we have Mercury, Mars, trine Uranus for the new moon, this is about activation when it comes to technology or even jobs associated with technology. So this is gonna be about like, people starting jobs that are like technologically focused, government focused. They're focused on food, health, wellness. This can also be about healthcare. Also another thing is what was the other download I got? Oh man, it came to me and then it like left. People getting like military jobs or people getting jobs that are like Martian in some type of way. So working with metals, working with on cars, working with machinery, things like this. People going back, we maybe see some people go back to school because they want to become like a mechanist or they want to become a electrician or something like this. Like kind of like mechanical things. These are mechanical things because we have Mercury, Mars together, trining Uranus. Okay. But in general, this new moon coming up on Sunday, I'll do a new moon live. I'll talk more about it. But this new moon wants to push us in a new direction. It wants us to kind of like build a new foundation in some type of way. So there's something about building a new foundation, building a new structure, building a new routine, building a new platform. If you are a social media person, if you're a business person, you want to expand your business some type of way, you want to add, let's say you want to go ahead and remodel your restaurant, you want to add another floor. Let's say, oh, you got some old furniture in there, and you want to change up the furniture and you want to remodel it and do that. Like that is what this new moon is kind of encouraging us. It's kind of encouraging us to adapt and make these changes that we've been like delayed on making, and to kind of implement new ideas, new approaches, new structures, new ways of doing things, new ways of making money. This is a very financially abundant new moon. Venus is in the second house away from the new moon. But I also do believe that the new moon is going to show us and tell us that there's certain people that are not meant to come with us, and there's certain relationships or even karmic obligations to others that we got to liberate ourselves or free ourselves from. Okay. I just got to tell you this because, there's a lot of rebalancing or restructuring happening in relationships with people right now. And there's a lot of kind of like having to have discernment around, is this person your karmic is this person or this relationship part of your karmic obligation or part of your karmic duty? Or can you actually like free yourself from this person or even like having to negotiate your boundaries with like give and take with others or whatever that is? Like that's like we're going to be encouraged to do this kind of work. We're going to be encouraged to kind of take a look at our relationships really deeply and really intimately and be like, hey, wait a minute, like am I really giving in I'm really getting what I give, right? Do I feel like, I'm being treated with respect and fairness and like justice? Or do I feel like this person is lying to me, deceiving me, not being really honest or truthful with me? The reason why there's going to be some kind of intensity around relationships or there's going to be a sensitivity around relationships, thank you, my love, welcome, happy Monday, is because we're going to have Venus, Pluto together in Aquarius. Venus and Pluto for the new moon are in Aquarius together within 2 degrees. Pluto's at 3, Venus is at 1. So with Venus moving to Aquarius, you separated from your partner of 13 years. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Venus, Mars together. Yeah. When Venus, Mars come together in the sky, there a lot of breakups and separations happen, right? Because Mars brings agitation and Mars wants to fight about something, and Venus is the planet of relationships. So what Mars does when Mars goes and transits Venus and when they meet together in the sky, Mars brings up all the problems and all the issues. And Mars, he kind of pokes the bear a little bit and he any kind of issues you've already had in your relationships, Mars agitates and he brings to the surface, or he ignites them, or he pours salt into the wounds to trigger something, right? But with this, we have Venus Pluto. So Venus Pluto is very intense. Okay, it's not the same as Venus Mars. It's a little different, But Venus Pluto is very like do or die energy when it comes to relationships, right? Venus Pluto is very like, can we evolve this? Can we transform this? Can we change this? And whenever I think of Venus Pluto, I think of my own Venus in Scorpio, and I think of, certain sometimes relationships do need to go through a death and a rebirth, but it's the death piece that we don't know how to honor and we don't know how to do. We don't know how to let go. We don't know how to give people space. We don't know how to, take time for ourselves and separate because many of us, right, when we're going through a transformative phase in a relationship and spirit and the divine and even the universe is calling us to like pull away from each other, give each other space. Oh my God, we get all anxious and we get all stressed out and we get all panicky and we're like, oh my God, it's doomed. The relationship is coming to an end. But many times, no, we just need that space and separation to really figure out why we're in the relationship, to figure out who we are outside of the relationship, our priorities, our wants, and our desires, and to also allow the energy to clear up. Sometimes you just need the energy in the relationship to clear up and rebalance so that we can like come back together and see if we can make it work, right? But to be honest with you, the download I'm getting with this astrology though is with the Venus Pluto for the new moon is like it's like absolute endings. This is like there's no going back. Like we got to purge this, we got to release this. We've tried many times, we got to let this go, we got to honor it, we got to give it to God. So, Venus in Aquarius is also going to be activating relationship stuff for fixed signs. So if you are a Leo, Aquarius, Scorpio, Taurus, Venus coming in to square your own Venus, Venus coming into your first, seventh, 10th, fourth, right? Venus coming into, activate your sun, your moon by square or an opposition or something, right? You want to pay attention, Venus and Aquarius, because what does Venus and Aquarius want, right? Venus and Aquarius wants to be treated equally in a relationship. Venus and Aquarius wants a lover that's a friend. Venus and Aquarius wants a lover that they can talk to and that they could intellectually share ideas with, who thinks just like them or is very open-minded. Venus and Aquarius want someone who's open-minded, also someone who's social justice oriented, someone who is not going to like try to control them and dominate them, but give them space, right? There's someone who's going to go to the protests with them, right? Someone with good moral values in terms of humanity, right? Like they have a really strong sense of what's right and what's wrong, right? Like, someone who will go and, overthrow the government with them. That's what Venus and Aquarius is looking for. And collectively, when Venus is transiting Aquarius, we all take a look at our relationships and we're like, damn, do I have space to breathe in my relationship? Does my partner treat me fairly and equally, right? Is the division of labor in the relationship balanced, right? Do I have a partner that's a friend? Is my partner my friend? Can I get along with them and just hang out with them, right? And you know what's so funny about those that have Venus Aquarius in an Aquarius? A lot of their romantic relationships start off as friendships. A lot of their romantic relationships actually start off as friendships, right? And they're trying to they're trying to connect socially and intellectually. That's what Venus and Aquarius is trying to do, right? So, but the shadow of Venus and Aquarius, see, the thing is though, the shadow of Venus and Aquarius, and this is also a Venus and Capricorn thing, is partnerships that feel like a prison and partnerships where there's a lot of control because Aquarius is ruled by Saturn. And so is Capricorn. And so one of the things that we see with people that have Venus and Capricorn Aquarius is we see them get into relationships sometimes that are not only karmic, but where they lose their freedom, where they are controlled or dominated by a partner, where a partner is being kind of mean to them, and being cold, like cold and mean. Because Capricorn and Aquarius being ruled by Saturn, Saturn is a planet that is cold and mean. It is hard to love, right? And you know this. We all know we all have a Capricorn or an Aquarius in our life that is loving them is hard. They don't want to be loved. They don't want to be hugged. They don't want affection, right? They want love, but they fight it. They fight love. Stop fighting love, Aquarius and Capricorn. Let me love you. Like Ray J, well, who's that? Just let me love you. I wanna love you. But before you learn to love yourself, right? Neo, let me love you. Is it let me love you? Yeah, Neo sang that actually. But that let me tell you, no truer words have been spoken. Let me love you until you learn to love yourself. But you can't love someone that don't love themselves. You can't. If you want to love someone else properly, if you want to be loved properly and receive love and be able to feel love from others, you have to love yourself first and foremost. You can't give to others what you can't give to yourself, and you can't receive from others what you can't give to yourself either. Okay? So if we are to love others properly, then we have to love ourselves. If you do not love yourself, you are not going to love others properly. If you do not love yourself, you are going to do things to get love that are not healthy. You're going to manipulate, you're going to gaslight, you're going to demand, you're going to throw tantrums, you're going to control in order to receive love. Because you believe that's the only way you can get love. When the truth is that love is always given freely, and it should be, right? Love should be given freely. Love should not come with, well, obviously there's going to be terms and conditions in relationships, but love needs to be given freely. It should be, you know? And we shouldn't have to do all these things to give love or receive love. We shouldn't have to do all that, okay? Sometimes we're doing too much in the name of love, you know? And you don't got to do all that. You know what I mean? Let me see what people are saying. Hold on. We need some space. Let me see what people are saying. Friendship first. Not even one date my entire life. I also feel this is an aqua moon. Yeah, bullying, it sucks at heart. Hearts. Me with Venus and Aquarius in my 10th house. LOL, LOL, stay away. LOL. We need some space. My Venus and Capricorn. We want love, but we're battling ourselves. You should let me love you. Let me be the one to. Right? Give me all the love, but only if I love you. I have to learn to love myself. She's not going to me. Now all makes sense. Manipulative on my bare energy. Yeah. We've been on since 9, about an hour. So yeah, with Venus going into Aquarius, we really gotta let our, the greatest love. Okay, this is what is Venus and Aquarius here to teach us how about love, right? The greatest love that you can give someone sometimes is freedom. If you really love someone, you let them be free, right? You let them kind of experience themselves. You let them socialize. You let them do their thing. I'm not gonna open this actually because it's too bright. Like when we really love someone, right? It's like, and this is the same thing that the Buddha said about a flower, right? When it comes to a flower, if you really love a flower, you leave it alone. You don't pick it. A lot of times, what we do when we see something beautiful or see something that we want or see something that we like, we want it for ourselves. We want to control it. We want to pick it. We want to contain it. We want to keep it. We want to hoard it all for ourselves, right? No. No. When you really love something, you share it with the world. And this is the same when it comes to your own passions, your own craft, your own magic, your own talents, right? You may love to write. You may love reading. You may love astrology. You may love painting. And if you love something that much, the way that you express that love is by sharing it with the world. That's the most loving thing that you could do. Not hoarding it and possessing it and keeping it all to yourself, right? And we do this with people all the time. We do this with people all the time. Oh, you know what? You're mine. You belong to me. You can't leave the house. You can't go to that party. You can't hang out with your friends. You can't go see your mom. You can't. And you know what you do when you do that? Well, you know what we do when we try to possess people in love? We push them away, we isolate them, and we actually destroy the very beauty that we admire so much about them. It's like when you pick the flower and it starts to die. And that's not what you wanted. That's not what you want for your love. That's not what you want for your beloved, right? You want your beloved to thrive, to be joyous, to be happy, to be content. So you give them permission to fully be themselves, to fully express themselves, to fully experience the things that they love. Whatever they love, you should love too. If they love spending time with this person, that person, they have certain passions, they have certain things that they enjoy that light them up. Them engaging those things should bring you joy, should make you feel good. When they're happy, you're happy. It's very easy. These are very simple things, right? But in practice, it's hard because we have so many insecurities. We have so many, hangups. We're jealous, we're possessive, right? We're in and deep down inside, we're not happy with ourselves, right? Deep down inside, we don't love ourselves. We're not happy with ourselves. So we do these things. Also, when someone is doing that with you, it's because they're suffering. They're not happy with themselves. They're not joyous, right? How dare you? So it's like this, right? Think about it like this. How dare you find joy elsewhere when you should be happy here with me? All right? How dare you find love and joy elsewhere when you should be happy and joyous with me? You know what that is? That's insecurity and that's selfishness. That's greed. It's greed. Greed shows up in so many forms, and many of us we're super greedy when it comes to love. And it's not good. It's not good. It's very unhealthy. It's very toxic. And you know what it does? Those that we love the most, we actually end up pushing them away. Because it's so crazy. Like when you try to force or demand or control love or a lover, the thing that we actually do is we actually push them away. By trying to control and contain, you actually push them away. That's what happens. The opposite happens. If you want someone to stay, you actually got to give them space. The irony of it all, right? If you want someone to stay, if you want someone to be present with you, you got to kind of give them space. You got to let them breathe. You got to let them be their own person. Our goal is to make any relationship that we're in a safe space. Our goal is to make any relationship that we're in as liberated and as free and as light as possible. That should be our goal. Every day we should be working towards that. Every day, you know? And if we are anxious and we're scared and we're attached and we're controlling and we're manipulating, we're doing all these things to get love, to receive love, if we think that's what love is, baby, you're wrong. You're off. You're not hitting the mark. You're totally off. Okay? And you got to work on it. You know, that you got to work on it. And sometimes it's not always, it's never our fault. It's never just only the other person's fault either. It's never either, right? Like no one can ever assume all the blame because it takes two to tango. It really does take two to tango, right? And to engage a certain two, it takes two people or even sometimes more nowadays, with the polyamory and everything to create a certain dynamic, right? But we got to take responsibility for our half and for our portion to be better and do better, so that we can really love people properly. We don't know how to love properly. We don't know how to love people. We don't really have a spiritual understanding of love. And I think we need to start really thinking about the way we give and receive love and how or what is our concept of love? What does love look like to us, right? Because many of us have a very damaged, wounded experience of love. And many of us we're not loving others properly, right? And sometimes it's as simple as a question of asking your beloveds, how do you want me to love you? What can I do for you to be more loving, right? Because you have all your ideas, but most of the time you're not even considering how the person, your beloved, wants to be loved. You're not even asking them. You don't even know. You haven't sat there to listen. You haven't been paying attention, right? It's a lot more simple than we think it is, but it does require certain, like, true love, deep love requires honesty. It requires vulnerability. It requires communication. You know, if you're not able or willing to talk to someone about things, good luck. Good luck. Communication is the foundation of love. It really is, you know. Honesty and openness, truth, these are all foundations. These are all core foundations of love. If we lack honesty, if we lack truth, if we're not able to communicate, we have to bite our tongue, if we're afraid, if we have to avoid things, if, you know, it's going to be really hard to move past that. Really, really hard. So Venus and Aquarius, right? Venus moving it out of Capricorn and going into Aquarius, you know, Venus is going to ask us, like, is your lover your friend, you know? And are your relationships full of balance and fairness and equality? And is your relationship progressive? You know, I always think of Venus and Aquarius as well as like relationships that defy that are frowned upon by society, right? So LGBT relationships, trans relationships, interracial relationships. One of the things you'll notice with people that have Venus and Aquarius, they get into interracial relationships, or they'll get into like, or they'll be LGBT, you know? But there's something around the relation, there's a karma around the relationship and how it's not being accepted by society or by the family or by others, or an age gap. Yeah, that's another one. Yeah. Venus and Aquarius, you'll see that with people that have that, there'll be age gap relationships. There's something that's kind of like taboo. There's something that society doesn't agree with when it comes to the relationship, right? Or there'll be some kind of like prejudice or bias against the relationship. You'll see this a lot with people that have Venus and Aquarius. So Venus and Aquarius really asks us, right? Can we love something different? Can we love something outside of our norm, right? Even if there's an age gap, even if they're from a different ethnicity, even if they're a different gender, whatever, right? Or the same gender, even if they're the same gender, right? Like Venus and Aquarius asks us to be able to love without limitation. It's interesting because, you know, Venus and Capricorn is loving within limitation. Like Venus and Capricorn is very much about boundaries and about structure in relationships and about commitment and about, you know, dependability. Like Venus and Capricorn is more, can I depend on you? Can I rely on you? Right? Are you trustworthy? Right? If I fall, would you catch me? Right? Like, are you grounded? Are you stable? That's what Venus and Capricorn is asking. But Venus and Aquarius is asking a very different question. Venus and Aquarius is like, are you my friend? Can you treat me with respect? Right? Can you treat me with fairness? Can you be open-minded? Right? Can you give me space and freedom in the relationship? Right? And I think about this also with when people have a fire sign Venus or a fire sign Moon, people also need space and independence, right? The like I've seen so many Aries. It's so funny because I don't know what it is with Aries women, but Aries women, they have a sun, Venus, or moon in Aries. And you know, they end up with these men that are like very needy and that like want, and they're like, oh, get away from me. That's the ick. You know, I need space. I need independence. Like I'm gonna be in my lane. You're in your lane. Okay. I'm not trying to do this whole codependent, you know, we're together all the time thing. Aries is not trying to do that, okay? Aquarius is not trying to do that either, okay? These are signs they need space. They don't need someone that is always on them and where are you at? What are you doing? You should be at home with me, making them feel guilty for being out in the world and doing they don't need that, okay? Like they need space. They need a partner that is strong, independent, has a life of their own. I really do think about this. I think about this with Aquarius, Aries, Sag, and Gemini. Like when people have Aries, Sag, Gemini, and Aquarius, those signs are very, very independent. And they're very much like, you know, I'll be in a relationship, but no, I'm not gonna lose myself into a relationship. I'm not gonna confuse myself and be like, hey, you know what I mean? Like, you know, like I'm not gonna get all confused and into the relationship and start identifying. No, no, I'm my own person outside of the relationship, right? Yeah, Capricorn is also a very independent sign. Yeah. Capricorn's a very independent sign, and very Capricorn will forego a relationship, right? For their career and their ambitions and their goals. You know, Capricorn is here to achieve something. So, you know, certain signs are here to relate. You know, certain signs are here to build relationships, right? Or even when people have a certain chart, like, but not every sign is here to do relationships, or not every sign wants to do relationships. And Capricorn, because the moon is fallen in Capricorn, or the moon is in detriment in Capricorn. Capricorn is a very independent sign, and they don't want to rely on their family. So that's definitely a Capricorn thing. A Capricorn thing is they want their family to rely and depend on them, but they don't want to be reliant or attached to their family in any way, shape, or form. Like Capricorn is very much like, listen, I'm the responsible, and you guys, if you need something, hit me up, but I'm gonna be over here. Like, I'm not gonna be relying on y'all because Capricorn wants to liberate itself and wants to be independent, financially when it comes to, resources in the material world, right? Someone said, we will walk away from someone if they're not authentic or providing peace. Aquarius with Venus and Aries, I need passion, but ask space. Not gonna lose individuality. Yeah, definitely not gonna lose individuality. Sag Moon, I like my freedom, but I also like them to be on me too. Yep. Venus and Aquarius doesn't believe in relationship societal norms. Yeah. Yeah, so it's this Venus going into Aquarius is going to be really interesting. It's going to be really interesting. Also, it's another fascinating thing is you always see Aquarius rising and Leo rising. They get into relationships with like someone from like a different ethnicity or different there'll be something unconventional about Leo rising and Aquarius rising's relationships because of the first house, seventh house Leo Aquarius thing. Right now, I'm referring to rising signs. I'm talking, it could be like Sun, Moon, or Venus. You know, Venus and the Moon are really the relationship planets, though. We really relate and build relationships and are attracted to people based on our Venus and our Moon sign, and also our rising, because the rising does influence the seventh house, right? So, yeah. But yeah, so this new moon with the Venus Pluto conjunction, it's like in Aquarius, there's something, and also the new moon trining Uranus. Like there's this new moon coming up on Sunday, January 18th, at the very end of Capricorn season. It's kind of asking us to be free and to liberate ourselves from things, right? It's asking us to kind of move forward from things and to karmically, it's not even about a karmic, it's like, it's not about a karmic releasing of things. It's more of like a karmic, like a breakthrough, like a moment of breakthrough. I also do think that we're going to see just people in general kind of going in radical new directions or kind of like going against their own norm. So, we're typically, they color inside the lines. We might see some people coloring outside of the lines with this new moon. So if you are someone that struggles with like change, if you struggle with, like kind of defying the status quo, breaking rules, you struggle with autonomy or independence, this can be a really beautiful new moon that can support, you cultivating those qualities. Yeah, so I'm excited for this new moon. I think it's going to be a positive one overall, I think it's going to be a positive one overall. We also got to understand, like, Saturn is going to be leaving Pisces by the middle of February, by February 14th. It's so crazy. I thought it was in March, but it's actually February 14th. And so there's just kind of like tragedy and endings that we also got to honor, And this is one of the things I've been saying is like people grieving things or people exiting things and also leaving jobs. That's another big one is like people leaving jobs and exiting jobs because of the South Node in Virgo. And we also have a Virgo eclipse that's going to be coming up on March 3rd, I think. I posted it in my stories. We have a lunar eclipse in Virgo that's going to be right next to the South Node, and so we're seeing more people leaving jobs, and things like that, or people making big career changes. That's the other thing. The other thing is like people making huge career changes. We're going to see it with the new moon. We're also going to see it with the eclipses coming up. Yeah, a lot of people this year are like, I don't want to fucking do this work no more. I don't want to do this job anymore. I've been doing this for 15 years, 20 years. I'm over this. I'm sick of this. I don't want to do this no more. And so we're going to be seeing a lot of people leaving their jobs, exiting their jobs, whether it be willingly or whether it be forcibly. Hi, Gilbert. I get that bubble. Wait, not you guys. No, no, go outside. Come here, Gilbo. Come here. Go. It's okay. I want to show everyone my dog. Come here, Gilbert. Hey, yeah, Bubble. Look at that little. Come here. Come here, handsome. Ah. You guys want to see Gilbert? Say hi, Bubba Boo. Look at my twin, apparently. We look alike? You guys need to stop. You guys need to stop. Okay? I know he looks like me. Okay, but I don't need a reminder every day. You look at this is my twin right here. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I love this little doggy. He's such a cutie. I might put you down. Ah, he's got old man grumpy vibes though. He's so cute, huh? He's so cute. So yeah, this is gonna be a good new moon, my loves. Really good for you if you have late degree earth signs, a late degree water signs as well. If you're a cardinal person, if you are a late degree Capricorn, Cancer, Aries, Libra, you have placements there. I really want you to pay attention to this new moon. We have Mercury Mars together though, so people are going to be feeling very assertive and people are going to be initiating or beginning things, you know. This is also a great new moon to break any kind of routines or bad habits. So if you want to kind of start a new regiment, a new routine, you want to like start a new, shift, positive, healthy habits, going back to the gym, you want to go back to the gym, whatever, you should do that. Okay. You should go ahead and do that. What chart am I looking at? Whose chart is this? Oh, this is a client's chart. I'm like, whose chart is this? This is from a reading I did a few days ago. Ooh, yes, yes. Okay, let me close all this. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Here we are. Yeah. So yeah, my loves. Okay, let's keep going. It's 10:17. We got some time left. Okay, so the moon's in Scorpio today, tomorrow. Then the moon's gonna be in Sag. So the moon in Sag is our sixth house away from our full moon in Cancer. So sixth house themes, sickness, jobs, coworkers, your daily routine, your daily habits, animals, pets. That's going to become a theme starting Wednesday when the moon goes into Sag. The moon's in Scorpio today and tomorrow, and the moon goes into the sign of Sagittarius. Sagittarius on Wednesday. And then the moon is responding to an exalted Jupiter who's retrograde and who is separating from an opposition with Mercury. So, what's really interesting is on Wednesday, the moon goes into Sag in the morning. Actually, yeah, like around midnight. And the moon is responding to Jupiter because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So we're pulling Jupiter from Cancer, or it's pulling energy from Jupiter and Cancer. But guess who's in opposition on Wednesday with Jupiter? Mercury. So we have Mars, Venus, and the Sun separating from this opposition with Jupiter. We have Mercury opposite Jupiter on Wednesday. And Wednesday is a day ruled by Mercury. So Wednesday is looking like a very important day. Either important decisions, important conversations, important opportunities. Wednesday could also be a day where you gotta like submit some kind of paperwork, or you gotta like file something, or you gotta, you know, pay off those speeding tickets, or you got to apply for that passport, or renew your driver's license, or you got to make that phone call to that job, or you got to submit the application, like something like that. Okay. GD said, "What's your call?" Oh, you messaged me? I'll take a look. I don't get all my messages sometimes. A lot of my messages they go to like spam, especially if you're out of the country. And I think you're out of the country. I think you're in a different country. So if you're out of the States and you send me a message, I don't always receive your messages. So I have to go take a look at my spam and I'll respond to you there if you did message me. I'll take a look and see. Okay, and we can talk about that. But yeah, so with Mercury opposite Jupiter on Wednesday, Jupiter is ruling over the moon in Sag. So it looks like Wednesday's a very busy, active day. Also there could be things starting Wednesday going to Friday as the moon is transiting Sag. Around travel or travel plans or making travel plans or maybe even leaving or going somewhere. I know I'm going back home on Thursday when the moon is with my Saturn. It's funny. I'm going back to Portland on Thursday, January 15th. When the moon is in Sagittarius, going over my Saturn in Sag. And Saturn's like, all right, it's time to go back home. So, yeah. So those are all Sag things. Also, because of the sign of Sagittarius, there could be interesting interactions with like the government or with legal institutions. So like with a lawyer, with a courtroom, like having to go to court, like a judge, things like this, or even like a doctor, stuff like that. Interesting things with sports and athletics. That's going to be something with the moon and Sag. So. There could be prominent, a prominent story about an athlete or a game or something like this. Oh, someone said, oh, you going to Vegas this weekend? Oh, you're gonna have fun. That's gonna be a fun weekend. Someone said the fires from last year ruined our roof and we had a bunch of leaks. The landlord is finally getting the roof replaced starting Wednesday. Praying goes smoothly. Oh yeah, that's interesting. Your living situation must be tied to Mercury then, or Mercury transits, because yeah, it's gonna go smoothly. It's so funny. You're getting a new roof put over your home, or you're getting like your home worked on as Mercury opposes Jupiter in Cancer. Cancer is a sign of home, right? And Mercury is the fixer. Mercury is the repairman. Um, yeah, because Mercury rules Virgo, and Virgo is the sign of fixing and repairing things and refining things and cleaning things, right? So you're cleaning people, like if you have someone that comes to clean your house, they're Mercury. That's a Mercury thing. They're Mercury for you. If you have someone that's coming to fix your house or someone that's coming in to like change cables or update things or whatever, that's their Mercury to you. Okay, so that's Mercury opposite Jupiter for you, and it's gonna go good because it's a Mercury Jupiter opposition, right? So yeah, it's gonna go good. But yeah, so be on the lookout for that, okay? If you've been waiting for like a phone call or something like that, or text message, or you've been waiting for to have an important conversation with someone, maybe you got an interview. Some of you got an interview Wednesday with Mercury opposite Jupiter. It's gonna go good. It's gonna go good. It's gonna be me. Anyways, and yeah, and then we're wrapping up our full moon in Cancer cycle too. So whenever the moon is in its balsamic phase, so what I mean is when the moon is balsamic, it's in the sign before it goes new, and it's like a slither. So it's like a slither of itself, right? The balsamic moon is the last moon phase before it goes new. And the balsamic moon phase tends to be kind of sad, kind of tragic, kind of heavy, kind of sentimental, kind of emotional. It's a old soul signature as well. So if you are someone that was born on a balsamic moon, um which means that you were born just before a new moon. So you have the moon and the sign before your sun. So if you let's say like in this chart, right? Capricorn Sun, Sag Moon, you were born with the balsamic moon. That means you have a moon to the 12th house to your sun. That's like having a 12th house moon. It's about it's about spiritual evolution. It's about being a wise old soul, but also the karma of that is it's like you're gonna go through losses, you're gonna go through tragedies, you're gonna go through a lot of difficulty, you're gonna suffer a little bit, you're gonna suffer a little bit. That's a balsamic moon. It's like old soul. It's old soul energy. And you're gonna spend a lot of alone. You're gonna a lot of alone time. You're gonna be a loner a little bit when you have a balsamic moon. That's the energy that we're in with the moon in Sagittarius. Okay, we're in a balsamic moon phase, and so this tells us that there's kind of like there's like closure. We're wrapping things up with the moon in Sag from our full moon in Cancer cycle. So whatever the full moon revealed to you around family, around your emotions, around what you need to protect, around what you're emotionally invested in. The moon in Sag is kind of like, okay, what's the action point? What's the release point? What's the closure point with from our full moon in Cancer cycle with what's been shown to us over the last few weeks, right? With the full moon in Cancer cycle. So something to keep in mind with the moon and Sag. But this is very it is a Sag moon though, you know, and Sag moon is very expansive, very fun, you know, let's party, let's go dance. You know, it's so cool whenever I do a reading for people that have a Sag moon. I do readings for mostly women. But they were a runner, they were a track star, they were, you know, in water polo, they were in rowing, they're very active when they were younger and they love to travel, they love to explore, they're very curious. They also love to party. Also, they could have been a dancer. That's another thing. Sagittarius is connected to dancing. And so, you know, one of the things I've noticed when people have a Sag moon, when women especially, they're like, oh yeah, I did hip hop when I was younger, or I, you know, did salsa, or I took salsa classes, or whatever. You know, it's just so interesting. Or pole dancing. That's another Sag moon thing. When I see the combination of Sag and Scorpio in a woman's chart, Sun in Scorpio, Moon in Sag, or something like that. Pole dancing will be a big thing, a big thing, you know, for them. They like pole dancing. But yeah, the moon in Sag is very it has this very active. It's a very physical moon as well. It's very physically oriented. It's very connected to the body and strong body as well. Strong hips, strong glutes, right? Sagittarius rules the hips, rules the thighs, rules your butt cheeks, your buttocks, all the fatty portions of the body, right? The midsection, the fatty portions of the body is what Sagittarius rules. Your sciatic nerve also and your liver are ruled by Jupiter and ruled by Sagittarius. So a lot of us with Saturn and Sag, like myself, we have sciatica. Or we deal with lower back issues and hip problems. We have hip issues because of Saturn and Sag, the constriction of the Sagittarius parts of our body, right? My daughter is a Sag moon and she is gifted at dancing and running. Amazing gait for a like a gazelle, like a horse. I always think of Sagittarius people. They have horse energy. So they love to gallop, they love to run. They're a little wild, they love to be free. Little hard to tame, little hard to tie down, you know. If you love a Sag, you got to give them freedom and space. You don't want to keep them in a stable. You got to let them do their thing. You know, that's a proper way to love a Sag. I'm a moon in Sag. I used to figure skate. Wow, look at that. You have any Pisces placements? Blessings, blessing, gratitude. You have any Pisces in your chart? Or you have a Saturn? You have a Saturn imprint on your chart? Because ice skating is actually a Saturn thing, and it's also a Pisces thing. It can be Aquarius too. Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. But it's because yeah, the Russians are Capricorn people. So Russians are Capricorn. That's why the Russians have always been known as being oh, you have a North Node in Pisces. Okay. Yeah, that's why the Russians are always known for being really good figure skaters. Or they like brought figure skating in certain, you know, in certain like periods of the sport. They've brought in figure skating to the next level because they're a Capricorn energy and ice skating is a Saturn thing as well. You're a Sag moon. You had hip surgery when you were younger. Yeah. Someone said I do have big hips and thighs. Yeah. That's like a Sag Cancer thing, you know? That's a Sag Cancer thing. Okay, let's keep going. So yeah, moon and Sag, balsamic moon phase. And then we enter our new moon and Capricorn cycle Friday evening. And we are in the new moon energy Friday evening, going into Saturday and going into Sunday. And things kind of get a little serious. You know, another thing about a new moon in Capricorn, you know, new moons are very, very serious. Or not new moons. That's what I'm going to say. Capricorn is a sign that's kind of very stoic and very serious and very grounded and very practical and very realistic. And also very blunt. Capricorn's a very blunt sign, you know? They don't sugarcoat things. Okay? They're very like straightforward with things. So with the moon going into Capricorn on Saturday and leading into our new moon in Capricorn on Sunday, you know, things may become suddenly more serious or more simple or more basic or more we may just look at things in a way that are a little bit more objective where we're not being so emotionally we're not looking at things from a perspective of how we feel about it. We're looking at things from a perspective of what is this thing like objectively? Like, what is this doing for me? What are you doing for me? There actually might be conversations, or there might be people that ask you that with the new moon and Capricorn cycle, or the moon going to Capricorn, like, what do you do for me? You know, like, you're not dependable, you're not reliable. Like, what are you actually doing for me? Like, because that's what Capricorn is looking for. Capricorn is looking for someone. Capricorn energy is looking for an employee. They're looking for people that do things that are productive. Like, okay, what do you do? Like, are you productive? Like, are you dependable? Are you reliable? Are you consistent? Like, that's what Capricorn is asking. That's what Capricorn is looking for. So with the moon in Capricorn, and our new moon in Capricorn cycle coming, our new moon in Capricorn cycle starting on Sunday, w- there's just a lot more matter of factness with relationships and with connections. There's just a lot more bluntness, a lot more practical. We're more practical about things. Like, what is this really doing for me? What are you really doing for me? Like. I always think of my mom. My mom is a Virgo sun and a Capricorn moon, and my mom is like Mrs. Manager, and she's always do this, do that, do this, telling everyone else what to do. Because that's what Capricorn energy is about. It's about Capricorn is the manager. Capricorn is tells everyone, gives everyone the plan, tells everyone else what to do, right? Keeping the ball moving, keeping the ball rolling. That's the other thing about Capricorn. Capricorn is a cardinal sign. Capricorn is a sign that's cardinal. So they're not like, oh no, they're not like, oh, we'll just wait around. You could do it tomorrow. No, get it done today. Yesterday, actually. It should have been done already. Right? Capricorn is a sign of deadlines. Deadlines, deadlines. You always got to meet a deadline. And leave it to Capricorn to either enforce a deadline or enforce a rule. Capricorn is like, no, these are the rules and you must follow. Okay. I don't care how you feel about them. I don't care about, your opinion about the rules. These are the rules, and you're gonna operate within this structure, right? You're gonna adhere to these rules. Okay. This is your deadline. This is the cutoff. After this, that's it. You have no more time, right? Saturn things, right? Time. Saturn rules over time. Capricorn is connected to time. But you got to think, Capricorn being a cardinal sign with Mars exalts in Capricorn, right? It's a very now sign. Now, not yesterday, okay? Or no, 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 not today, not yesterday. No, the day before. Okay. This should have been done 3 days ago, right? It's Capricorn thing. It's Capricorn things. So there's this kind of energy that we're shifting into with the new moon in Capricorn starting on Sunday, but with the moon going into Capricorn Friday night, of like, what are we doing? Where are we going? Is it now or is it never? Right? Like, we're feeling a little impatient. It's funny because Capricorn is a sign that's supposed to learn patience, but Capricorn is not an inherently patient sign. They develop patience, right? Saturn teaches them patience. As they get older, they learn to be patient. But because Mars is exalted in Capricorn is not a patient sign. It's a very impatient sign, actually. It doesn't want to wait for things. It always has a mission. It has something built. It has something to do, right? And I want you guys to think about that with the new moon in Capricorn coming up. I want you to think about, like, what are you building towards? What are your goals? What are your ambitions? And how are you structuring your day-to-day life so that you can, manifest that goal, that vision, or that dream? Like, what kind of life do you want to build? And I think this is one of the big things that Capricorn asks us, right? The sign of Capricorn and Saturn. What is the life that you want to build? How do you want to build your life? How do you want to structure your life, right? We have a certain karmic duty to create the life that we want. And part of that karmic duty is actually creating the foundation and the structures of the life that you want to experience, that you want to live, right? So, and this is like basic things. Like, this is like, you know, how much time do you want to be giving to a job every day? How much work do you want to do every day? Where's the location you want to live? Where do you want to live, right? Capricorn opposes Cancer. So, a lot of your lived experience is based off of, what you're going to experience in your life is based off of where you're living, right? And if you're not liking that, if you're like, hey, this doesn't feel like home to me, or I'm not really getting from life what I'm putting in, maybe it's time to relocate, it's time to move, right? Because, Capricorn does oppose, the sign of Capricorn opposes Cancer. And so that's why a lot of people they relocate or move for their with due to their career, because of the axis of Capricorn and Cancer. A lot of times, people's career or their goals, Capricorn, will change their living home situation, Cancer, because they're on the same axis, right? And how many people have you do you know that have moved for a job, right? They've moved to a different state, they moved to a different city or whatever because they got a job, and then all of a sudden they relocate the whole family. Everyone comes with them. They change their whole living situation, right? Cancer. So these are things I want you guys to consider. I want you guys to think about with the upcoming new moon, especially starting on Saturday before our new moon. I think this is a good new moon to do any kind of manifestation ritual, especially around working with the earth or working with plants. Okay. So, this download came to me actually as a manifestation ritual. So, what you can do is you can speak, so get some seeds, okay? If you're because Capricorn is also connected to farming and the earth. Right? A lot of Capricorns, it's so funny. There's been a reoccurring funny theme of Capricorn men, women that I know who have a Capricorn husband or a Capricorn boyfriend, or he has Capricorn in his chart, and he wants to like he's like his goal and his dream is to like live on a farm and like raise cattle and like and to live out in the middle of nowhere with the farm, right? That's like a Capricorn Cancer thing, but that's definitely a Capricorn thing. But so what you can do for a manifestation is you get a seed of a plant or whatever, and you can like speak into it, right? You can speak into it, whatever you want to grow, and then you plant the seed. And literally the seed, the physical seed in the growth of that plant is is a literal manifestation. That plant is going to help you manifest and grow whatever goal, whatever dream, whatever thing you're trying to achieve. Okay? It's a literal physical manifestation of growth, of you're literally planting a seed to grow something, right? Unfortunately for me, I do not have a green thumb. I do not grow things, unfortunately. So that's not going to be something that I do. I'm going to be doing more like written manifestation. What I like to do on new moons is I like to journal and I like to tell the moon this is what I want, this is what I'm trying to manifest. And I write letters. So the way that I manifest is I write letters to the planets. So I'll be like, dear Saturn, dear, I'll be like, dear Mercury, For this one, I'm like, dear new moon, right? Dear the moon, right? Because that's just me. That's the way I do it. You do it, everyone do it their own way, right? But yeah, a few ways. But yeah, I would highly recommend any kind of manifestation, any intention setting. You want to do vision boarding, you want to do, you want to write down a manifestation 110 times, or whatever. There's a lot of different ways that people manifest everything, right? Everything is man, it's all about the action and the intention. It doesn't matter how you do it. We get all caught up in the details of our manifestation work, right? But um it's the action, you doing it, that's the most important thing. It doesn't matter, right? Like give yourself permission to kind of do it your own way, right? Do I burn them after writing? Not really. I don't really burn them after writing them. Some you can though, if you want to, as a symbol of like release. And if you're a fire person, right? I'm not a fire person really. I guess I do have Jupiter and Aries and Saturn and Sag, so I do like to burn things every now and then or burn shit down every now and then, but it won't be my manifestation stuff. Because then I'll forget what I manifested. If there's a specific moon, is there a specific moon we can do love spells for self-love? I heard there's gonna be a strawberry moon sometime later this year. I don't know, maybe, yeah. We'll talk about that when we get there. The full moon in Cancer is a really good moon for self-love, Also, any kind of Taurus, full moon, new moon in Taurus, full moon in Taurus. Those are all good. Those are also really good self-love new moons. New moon, full moon, yeah, but you could do it. If you want to call in more self-love. I don't know if a new moon in Capricorn's whatever you want to manifest, whatever you want to call in, whatever you want to call in energetically, you do you, boo. So yeah, the moon's in Capricorn starting Friday and then Saturday, Sunday. Then we have our new moon in Capricorn on Sunday, and then Venus goes into Aquarius. But we have this Mercury Mars signature. I want you guys to be very mindful of Mercury Mars because people are going to be kind of driving a little crazier, a little bit more snappy, a little bit more agitated with communication. People are going to be a little bit more assertive with decision making and choices as well. And cardinal signs, especially if you're a cardinal person, Libra, Capricorn, Cancer, Aries. This new moon, especially if you have late degree stuff, this new moon is activating you. This is right on my moon. So I have a 24-degree moon in Capricorn. So this new moon, the Mercury Mars thing is like right on my moon. So I'm gonna be fighting with somebody. Okay, so get out my way on with the new moon. Don't pick a fight with me, okay? Because let me tell you, all right. I've been I've been leaning into my Jupiter in Aries, I'll say that. I've been leaning into my Jupiter and my North Node in Aries. That's all I gotta say, okay? I'm a very competitive person too. I'm very competitive. Mars people are like Scorpio, Aries people. They have a lot of Scorpio, Aries. I have a lot of Scorpio, Aries in my chart. We're very competitive and we don't like to lose. We like to win. We're winners, okay? And it's funny because sometimes I'm in competitions that I'm not even aware of, that I don't even know about. What is this interesting? I'll be in a competition I'm not even aware of, I don't even know about. I'm like, what the heck? Okay. All right, I guess. I guess, you know. But yeah, my loves. Anything else you guys want to talk about before I go? Anything else I got to bring up? Let me see if there's any planets coming. That's one of the things I always miss, dude. I always miss planets coming or going into retrograde or coming out of retrograde. I don't think we have any retrogrades. Let me just double check, make sure that Jupiter and Uranus are not like no, they're not. They just went retrograde not that long ago. So there's nothing coming out of retrograde. There's nothing coming out of retrograde. Aquarius season starts also on the 20th. We start Aquarius season. Well, I think we're gonna have a Sun Mars conjunction in Aquarius. Oh no, 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 no. We already had a Sun Mars conjunction. Yeah. Yeah. So the Sun is moving past Mars, yeah. Because the Sun moves faster than Mars. We start Aquarius season and the Sun has to go through Pluto. Yeah, Aquarius season is gonna be very dramatic. This Aquarius season is gonna be very, very climactic. It's gonna be very intense, this Aquarius season. There's gonna be a lot of social justice activity, a lot of people taking to the streets and protesting. That's going to be on 10, okay? Especially with Mars going into Aquarius too. Mars goes into Aquarius on the 23rd. Mars moves into Aquarius. A few days after the sun, and we're going to have Venus, Mercury, Sun, Mars, Pluto all in the sign of Aquarius. Very interesting. Very interesting, I must say. All the fixed signs are going to be activated with Aquarius season starting. Gonna be a very interesting Aquarius season, my loves. The astrology is astrologying. That's all I gotta say. This is very unique, once in a lifetime astrology. We're gonna think back to like 2020, and be like, all of us are gonna be like, what the fuck was that? What was that? That was crazy. You know? It all started with the pandemic and it was just downhill from there. All right? Am I right or am I right? You know? Craziness. All right, my loves. Everyone that showed up yesterday, if you're in the chat, thank you so much for providing me and everyone else that showed up a beautiful experience. We had such a good time yesterday. I want to do more community building activities in person. I also want to do more community building activities like in other states as well. Where I think the next one I want to do is either going to be in Chicago or New York. And I want to do like my goal this year is to really apply myself and to really like focus myself into teaching and mentoring and to also doing like workshops, like shorter workshops. New York will probably be spring, summertime. Okay. Yeah, yeah. And to do more gatherings in general. Yeah, Oregon. If I'm in Oregon still, yeah, if I'm in Oregon, yeah. I want to do Chicago. I want to do New York. And I'm in Oregon, so maybe we'll do something in Oregon the next like, few months or something. So I'll let y'all know about that. But yeah, we had so much fun yesterday, and it was just so cool to be around people that are into astrology and they're into tarot and they're on their spiritual journey. It was just so cool to see everyone interacting and meeting each other and sharing their experiences. And it's unfortunate, so many of us were into astrology and tarot. We're on a spiritual journey, but we're in our own little bubble, right? We don't have friends, we don't have a community to connect to share our experience with. And so we feel very isolated and very alone with our spiritual practice, with our divination practice, with our passions or interests in astrology, tarot, whatever it may be. So it's nice to, go and connect to people that are as open-minded and as willing to, you know, partake in the astrology and the tarot and all those things as you are, right? It's so nice. It's so nice. So, yeah, my loves. Thank you everyone that showed up yesterday. We had such a good time. I'm so grateful for all of you, and we'll be doing more of those this year. Okay. But I love you all so much. Have a beautiful, blessed day. I'm gonna go ahead and post this on I'm gonna post this live on YouTube in a few hours. So if you guys want to go ahead and watch it there, oh, let me pull some cards real quick. Hold on before I go. I did this last time too, and I want to do that. Maybe I want to like because I want to incorporate tarot more into like what I share with you guys and my work with like because I do tarot like all the time. So let me get a deck out. I'm gonna kind of see what the energy of the week is. Let's see what Spirit has to say about this week. Hold on. And then we're gonna do this real quick and then I'll let you guys go. Okay, I promise. We still got a few more minutes. I usually these are about 2 hours long. We still got about like 10, 15 minutes. So let me go ahead and pull some cards really quick for the week. Let's just see what the energy of this week is about. And just see what messages I got for you guys. Mhm. This could be like messages. If you're on the live, this could be like for you, okay? So if you're meant to see this, it's like for you. Seven of Swords in reverse. Ooh. Oh no, no, no. This is about self-sabotage. Ooh. It's about like self sabotaging thoughts or behaviors, or even like people around us gossiping about us or being negative. So what Spirit is saying is like we need to be more protective of our guarded with our energy. Spirit is saying with the Seven of Swords in reverse, like take a look at the things that fuck you up, that fuck up your energy. So certain habits, certain behaviors, certain people, certain environment, certain social situations, they're like things that like pull you back, that block you, that kind of like sabotage you or that mess you up. And also like being more defensive with negative energy. So if you know someone is very negative or very pessimistic, or if you know someone is just like a funky energy and like but they're like you have to live with them or they're like in your environment, protect yourself from them. Don't interact with them as much. Don't make eye contact with them. Don't share with them your goals, your dreams, your ideas, okay? Evil eye is a real thing. I hate to say it, my loves, but evil eye is energy is everything. And a lot of times what people don't know or don't see, they can't harm or they can't send negative energy to. So what Spirit is saying is for this week, be more discerning around what people know or what you share with people. Be more discerning around, you know, th- who you're interacting with, who you're sharing energy with. Protect yourself a little bit, kind of block, you got to be a little bit more defensive, a little bit more protect, a little bit more guarded with your energy, okay? This is also about self-sabotaging thoughts. And Seven of Swords is also telling me about self-sabotaging thoughts. So this is like having very negative thoughts and like saying negative things to yourself or saying self-destructive things to yourself like oh I'm not smart or oh I'm dumb or oh oh I'm not gonna be able to, I'm a failure, I'm a whatever. Baby, stop that. That's not the truth. That's just your mind. That's just your mind lying to you. Actually that's your trauma, okay? That's your trauma that you've internalized, and now it's become like a negative thing that's like a negative feedback loop in the brain. We got to clear that out. You got to let that go. You got to speak. Speak more like gently to yourself. Like speak softer to yourself, okay? Is what the Seven of Swords in reverse is telling me. And then we got the Two of Pentacles in reverse. Two of Pentacles is about um choices or decisions that need to be made that are testing our values. Ooh, a really interesting thing. So there's something around our values being tested and us kind of asking ourselves whether or not this thing aligns with my values. Is this thing appreciate me? Does this thing value me, right? And do we have conflicting values? Like, so this can also be in the realm of like relationships. This could also be with a job. So this is a few things. So there's one message coming through around feeling underappreciated or undervalued, either in a relationship or in a job situation. So like the job is taking advantage of me, the job doesn't appreciate me or value me. So I want to go in new directions. I want something new, Two of Wands. But this is also about a misalignment of values of with someone. So this can be like, oh, I want to be a parent, and the other person doesn't want to be a parent, and you guys have two conflicting values, and that's creating tension in the relationship. So we need to figure out, is this someone that's going to come with me or no, right? This could also be like, oh yeah, I really value honesty and integrity, and the other person is like, oh, not a very honest or integrous person, or they don't have a lot of integrity. So you kind of have to reconcile your values with this person. Either you're gonna like modify your value and give it up, or you're gonna hold true to your value, which is gonna have an impact on the relationship, which may have you move away from them or something like that. So yeah, the Two of Pentacles is about that. Also, this is about important financial or monetary decisions that need to be made. Capricorn season, new moon in Capricorn coming up on Sunday. It makes sense. But there's something around like what you're investing time and energy and resources or money into, and whether or not you want to continue investing time, energy, money, resources into that thing, or whether you need to pull out your investments. And also, like, Spirit is saying, if you don't have all the information, or can't see you can't see very clearly, or if you're like just stuck in indecision, there's no pressure or no need to make a decision now. So the other thing, the other message coming through this week with the Two of Pentacles in reverse is give yourself time to make a decision. You don't need to like make it now, especially if you're waiting on something. If you need a certain piece of information, if you need to have a certain conversation, if you need to wait to see how something unfolds before you make an informed decision, give yourself that grace, give yourself that permission to do so, okay? And yeah, all right. The Two Wands is about future planning and future directions and kind of like the new vision and the new dream and the new goal. So what Spirit is saying, and this makes so much sense coming out on a week where we have a new moon in Capricorn. Like Spirit is saying, like, what's the next dream? What's the next vision? Where are we going? And I don't know if you guys have ever noticed in this card. I don't know if you guys have ever noticed that one of the wands is bolted into this building. Did you guys ever notice this? Has anyone ever noticed this? This little detail with the Two of Wands? How this wand is bolted in? Have you guys ever noticed this? Right here? Do you see it? Where my fingers? So, and you'll notice that this person is like they're like in a castle. They're like at a castle. They're like in a castle. They're in some kind of place. So this is about the Two of Wands is about being in a place where we're grounded and we're stable and we're prepared to go to the next direction, or to go onto the next journey. That's why this person is holding a globe in their hand. You see this? Because this is a card of the world is my oyster, but this is also a card of entrapment. This is also a card of being stuck and kind of sometimes being a prisoner or feeling stuck, feeling like entrapped or stuck because of this bolted wand. You see this? This bolted wand. So, with that being said, Spirit is saying if you feel trapped or stuck, exactly. Look what she said. I would think since it's bolted, it's stuck. Exactly. You're picking up what I'm putting down. You're smelling what I'm stepping in, okay? This is what I'm getting with this is like we feel stuck or trapped right now. Some of us. And Spirit is saying this week, make a plan for a big dramatic shift or change. If you're feeling like, wait a minute, I'm stuck and I need to shift, go big with the change. Go big. Make a big change. Change the job. Change a spouse. Change the living situation. Right? Like and like go far. Too. That's another thing with the two of wands. The two of wands is telling me like go far. Like really, I always think of Sag, right? This is a Sag card. The two of wands is a Sag card. And I always think of the archer, like how far can you shoot that bow and that arrow? How far can you reach with that arrow, right? That's what the two wands is asking us. How far can we go, right? Like what is the distance and can we go the distance, you know? I will go, what is that song? I can go my way. I will go the distance. I'll be there someday. Da 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 da. Is that Hercules? How does it go? Uh, I want to sing it. Hold on, give me a second. I gotta look up the lyrics real quick because I forgot it. Oh, there it is right there. I will find my way. I can go the distance. I'll be there someday. If I can be strong, I know every mile will be worth my while. I will go most anywhere to feel like I belong. That's the two of wands. That's the two of wands. That's this right here. That's the two of wands. So we're being encouraged in the on the bottom of the deck, of course, I got the magician card. We're being encouraged to manifest a new reality, to manifest something different, but to also kind of like expand. We're being encouraged to outgrow who we've been, to outgrow the confines of our own existence. That sounds very deep and intense. We're being encouraged to outgrow the confines of our own existence. Okay? Like, can we become more? Can we be greater than we've been? Can we do more? And for some of you, this is about literally taking up more space. For some of you with the Capricorn energy, this is about challenging yourself. You've always told yourself, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that. Well, no, challenge yourself. See what you can do. Test yourself, okay? You got to be willing to test yourself. You got to be willing to do something that's hard, okay? For some of you. That's what expansion and growth looks like for you, is actually testing and actually maybe mastery or maybe even working a little bit harder or trying a little bit harder or doing something that's hard or difficult. Okay? That's what Spirit is saying with this Two of Wands. So, um, also, the other thing about this is we really got to just kind of let people be. There's something about letting people be and like really focusing on ourselves and just like kind of letting things be, letting certain relationships or certain people be. That. I don't know what that is, but that's a message. That's the message. Leave them alone. Let them be. Let people leave you be, and you leave other people be. Okay, just let people be. That's the message. Simple, okay, but hard to do. Simple but hard to do. Okay, just leaving people be. Okay, sometimes that's the hardest thing because I don't want to leave them be. I don't want that. I don't want to leave them be. But Spirit is like, no, leave them be. Just leave them be. Yeah, it is right here. Right there. Look at that. Look at the pinned comment. Do you see that? Let people be. Is there a bee in one of these cards? Let me see. Let me see if I can find a bee. I know there are tarot cards that have a bee in it. Which is a tarot card that has a bee in it, you guys? There is a tarot card that has a bee. Let me find it. Is it the Empress? There is a tarot card that has a bee in it, a picture of a bee. I know it. I've seen it multiple times. I just can't think of it. I think it's the Empress. Maybe not in this deck. Someone said, "Oh yes, my morning coffee show is." You guys so funny. Let people be. Yeah, yeah. It's so funny. No, yeah, so the Seven of Swords, Two of Pentacles in reverse, and the Two of Wands upright is what we got for this week's tarot. So, moving away from self-destructive habits or behaviors, not self-sabotaging, protecting ourselves from people energetically. If there's like negative people around us or negative energy, we really want to protect ourselves. There's this energy of needing to protect yourself from negative energy. Two of Pentacles in reverse, slow down with decision making or choices, values being tested, us having to go ahead and measure things to our value system. Does this relationship, does this person, does this job align with my values? Do I feel valued or appreciated in the space of connection or relationships? And also waiting on information to come in to make a better informed decision. The Two of Wands is about new directions and needing to go really far. And also feelings of entrapment. And if we feel trapped or stuck, it's because we need to make a big change. We need to reach for something more. We need to like challenge ourselves also. That's another thing. It's kind of like challenging ourselves, like doing the hard thing, doing the difficult thing, okay? And also like going far. I don't know. Spirit is saying some of you just need a big epic change in your life to shift the energy and to move things, okay? And the Magician card, manifest, manifest, manifest. Get all everything in your life together, okay? Get everything, all the elements of your life in alignment. So manifestation happens when you have every element aligned with your goals and your dreams. So the water element, your emotions, your feelings, the earth element, your money, your resources, your body, right? The air element, your mind, your thoughts, the fire element, your actions, what you're doing, physical action, your actions. When all those are in alignment, when all the elements within you are working together, to achieve something or to accomplish something, your mind, your actions, your emotions, your material relationship, the material world, right? Then that's how we manifest things very, very quickly. That's how manifestation happens. And that's what the magician card teaches us. The magician card teaches us that if we master all the elements, we become master manifestors. We can become the magicians that we all are, because we're all magicians, whether we realize it or not. We're all magicians, my love. Okay? Oh, the Queen of Wands. Yes, I think it's the Queen of Wands that has a bee. Oh, let me see. I know the King of Wands has a salamander. I know the Queen of Wands has a cat. She has a black cat. Let me look at her. Let me see if she has a bee. Be yourself. Leave people be. Let's see if she has one in this deck. This deck is it's like based off the original Rider-Waite, but it's like they modified some of the depictions, some of the drawings here. Did I miss her? Where'd she go? It's always when you're. She has a black cat. I thought she did have a bee. She doesn't have one here though. I gotta look at the traditional Rider-Waite. She does have a black cat though. The Queen of Wands is like the black cat is about protection, spiritual protection. And also the black cat is the Queen of Wands is connected to a card of what's her name? Isis. It's connected to Isis. The black cat is connected to Isis. Queen of Wands. Oh, no, she doesn't. Maybe there isn't. I swear. I'll when it comes up, it'll come up. I swear I've seen a bee in a tarot card before. Apparently, it doesn't say that there are any. There aren't while bees aren't prominent in traditional Rider-Waite Smith tarot deck, there's a bee tarot. Yeah. Okay, my loves. Believe in yourself. I love that. I love you all so much. I hope you enjoyed the little tarot reading that we did. And someone said looking forward to you doing a meetup again in PDX. Yeah, I haven't done one in Portland yet, but we'll do one in Portland. Yeah. I love you all. Have a beautiful day, okay? I'll see you guys around. I'm gonna go ahead and post this on YouTube as well. So if you guys want to go rewatch rewatch the playback on YouTube, you can. It'll be up in a few hours, okay? I love you guys. Peace. Deuces. Have a beautiful day. Have a blessed day. The moon's in Scorpio. Don't go off on anybody. And yeah, have fun. I'll see you guys. Bye.